the game was make this the last game ever, or the best game for these guys at Death Valley out of the group of good games that you've had? Is that kind of what was going into the game?
No question. Our senior group was part of that 2014 team that drew a line in the stand and decided to make a change when we had the streak where we had lost several. And just so happy for those guys to come out. They were challenged all week. Our offensive line was challenged. There were some words that were exchanged about how we play up front. And so everyone took this one personally. We know what this means to our fans. And, on a side note, just want to give a shout out to our fans. I mean, we got the best fans in the country. They created an unbelievable atmosphere tonight. Our guys fed off of it. They had a great week of preparation. They blocked out all the distractions, and that's why you were able to see them be balanced and have the best performance of the year offensively.
You said some words were exchanged about how you all played up front. What kind of went into that? What bulletin board material stuff?
Bulletin board material and just talking about our style of play. Obviously, there's a difference in mentality, or so to speak, in the different conferences. But we pride ourselves on being able to run the football. And what you've seen over the last couple of weeks is our guys up front have really started to pick up where they ended last year. We've been able to consistently run the football, and they were challenged. And I thought they did a really, really good job of creating a new line of scrimmage. The backs were able to run hard, and anytime you can rush for over 200 yards, it's a good night.
Talk about the game Wayne had tonight, and when he came out tonight, what was going on with him when he was limping off the field?
I know he took a shot, and he had asked to be replaced. Something was going on. They said he was okay to go back, but the other guys were running hard, and it was an opportunity for those guys to come in and didn't get anything after the game saying that he was hurt bad. He's a little bit sore right now with something in his leg. We'll get a full report tomorrow, but the biggest thing was the game was in hand. The other guys deserve an opportunity to finish that game, and they didn't disappoint.
There seemed like a lot of emotions on the sideline, as those starters came out, particularly with Deshaun. If this ends up being his last home game, 6 touchdowns, can you kind of put into perspective what he's meant to the home fans here and you guys as a program over the last 3 years?
Well, what I told him prior to the game is I just thanked him, because he's made me a better person. He's made me a better coach, and he's made this program better. And he set the standard of what quarterback looks like. And we've had some really, really, really good quarterbacks come through, and he's just taken, that challenge and elevated. And I think he started his career with 5 touchdowns, and he ended his career in Death Valley with 6 touchdowns, and could have had more. But just extremely proud of the young man that he is and what he's meant to our program, his leadership, his character, graduating in 3 years. I mean, there's just not enough good things that you can say about Deshaun Watson. And it seems like the bigger the stage, the better he plays, and that's just what's really elevated our program, because you got to be at your best in championship time, and that's when he's at his best.
I know you. Do you think, following up on that you guys, you went to the championship game last year, and you just know what it takes, that long road, and that at this time of the year it's time to turn it up a notch? Do you think that was a little bit of that today?
Well, if here at home, they always play the fourth quarter video, and so we understand in the game you got to be at your best in the fourth quarter, and then we're working all year to get to championship time, and that's when you got to be at your best. Our guys understand that awards, rankings, none of that stuff matters in September and October. People are going to remember what you do in November, and you get an opportunity by what you do in November to play for championships. And so the last 3 weeks, really proud of the focus of our team. They had an opportunity to play for an Atlantic Division championship last week. They're playing for they won a state championship this week, and they have an opportunity to play for an ACC championship next week. So our guys understand what it takes, and they understand that you got to have your best football to be played in both November and December.
I know you guys don't focus on individual awards, but was tonight Deshaun's Heisman moment?
I think that he's going to make a stake. I've said it last year, and I'm going to say it this year. I mean, he's my Heisman candidate. I mean, I believe he's the best quarterback in the country, but that's for a lot of other people to decide. And all Deshaun can do is go out the next couple of weeks and just continue to play at a high level, and then leave it up to the voters. But in my book, he's a winner. He's a Heisman. He's the best quarterback in the country. But that's not for me to decide.
Other than the tipped pass by Leggett that turned in the interception, is this about as perfect as an offense can run?
I think right now, but as I go back and watch the film, there's going to be a couple of short yardage situations where I wanted to be a little bit cleaner. We did give up a sack, and so when you're talking about perfection, you're talking about being perfect in every area. I think we were maybe 10 or 15 on third down, so a couple of situations. So we're going to find stuff to be able to improve upon, but overall, in this game, this stage against your rival, to come out and to set a couple records offensively, and I'm not a big guy about that, but this one here is personal. This is big, and for our seniors to finish this way, in this stadium versus this team, after the way that they've been challenged, is beautiful.
You were a wide receiver in that 63-17 game. In your mind, is this maybe a little bit more dominant even than that one was?
I have to concede that. I challenged the guys this year, and we might have the largest amount of points scored, but they have the largest margin a victory, and it was pretty dominant the way and then it was on both sides of the ball. Defense played well. I think they held them to under 200 yards or right around 200 yards, and special teams played well. It was just a complete game. So really proud that amidst the distractions of Thanksgiving and wanting to see your family and a lot of stuff going on in the media with a rivalry game, these young men, they blocked out the noise, they focused in, and they played their best game of the year.
I know you obviously haven't broken down any film or Virginia Tech or anything yet, but having you played Bud Foster before, and I'm sure you've probably seen some film of crossover games. As you've studied, what do you make out of that Virginia Tech defense?
Schematically, I won't be able to tell how similar he is to when we played him back in 11, I think it was. But I know he's one of the best defensive minds and one of the most respected defensive coordinators in the country. He's going to do a very, very thorough job of analyzing us. Even when we played him back in 11, and did we play him in 12? I think we played him in 12. We played him 3 times in a row, right? He did a really, really good job schematically of having a beat on us. So we're going to have to do a great job of studying ourselves, making sure we know what our tendencies are, so that we know how he's going to try to attack us. But tremendous amount of respect for Bud Foster. I mean, longevity. Just look at longevity. He's been at the same program forever, and unless you're a special guy with special talents, you're not going to be in that position. So they're a football team. They're a champion in their own right. They won their division, and then we're going to have an opportunity to settle it for who is the champion of the ACC next week. But haven't studied him. Not sure how similar he is, but I got tremendous faith in this offensive staff that we're going to do the best job we can to get a game plan ready to give our guys an opportunity to be successful next week.
Have you seen Deshaun